Welcome to Spotlight on Lee County. I'm Loretta Rose, and our very special guest today is Tax Revenue Commissioner, Miss Oline Price. Welcome today to the show, Miss Price.
Thank you so much, Loretta. I appreciate you having me.
And you look lovely.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Well, thank you for your time, and we are so excited to find out more about Miss Oline Price. Many people in the community that have come to the City Hall to buy tax, to pay for taxes, you know, they wrote this check out to this person, Oline Price, and a lot of people don't know the person behind the name. And today, what I'm excited about, I found out something that I didn't know about you, but as we progress in the show, the people will get to know as well. But what I want to ask, first of all, is that you're a lifelong resident in Lee County?
I am. I grew up here, was raised here. When I have opportunities to talk to especially civic clubs and groups like that, I tell them, you know, we're representing God's country. You just see that halo when you cross the county line.
Yes,
and,
yes.
It's a wonderful place to be.
Well, and you have children, you're a family woman?
I do. I have, my husband and I have been married 39 years. Wow. Randy is a saint. But we have two sons, Hunter and Cameron. Cameron is the oldest, and Hunter's our youngest son. He and his wife Lisa have our only granddaughter. And so when she was born almost 5 years ago, everybody else ceased to exist, they say. Our world revolves around her, as it should. She's a very, she's a lovely, lovely child. My son would probably disagree with me sometimes, but I have grandmother priority, so.
Well, I tell you, you know, I'm excited about the interview today because I met you for the first time at the family movie night.
That's right.
But I've heard of your name, and again, like I said, we've written out checks with Oline Price, and Mayor Copeland had shared with me about how instrumental you are with a lot of things that have taken place with the city of Smith Station in Lee County. And I said, okay, I would love to sit down and have a talk with her. And he said, you should, because she's been very instrumental. So let's kind of go backwards. When did you, before you got to this point, where did you start?
I was the tax assessor in Lee County. I was elected tax assessor in 1996, took office in 97. Prior to that, I worked in the private sector, but I was also a contractor for HUD, the Department of Housing and Urban Development. And I had worked some in the public sector also. I was somewhat recruited to run for the office of tax assessor. A lot of it is because of the work that I had done as a contractor with HUD, and the financial work that I did with that, and the simple fact that I knew so many people in this county, and I could relate to so many people in this county. We were going through, Lee County was experiencing a growth spurt at that time, which was basically really the beginning of our somewhat of the change of what we were and where we are now. We have gone from somewhat of an agrarian. We were a very agricultural county, and then we moved into the textiles, and Lee County was big textile county, and but the textiles were moving out, and then of course we had one or two other industries, but the people, and I have to say, it's not just the counties, but the cities in the area, they recognize the importance of an alternative type of work and employment opportunities for the people. So they reached out to capture, or not capture, but recruit some industries and businesses that were not so connected directly to textile and that type of thing. And in the meantime, we just saw some transitions coming along everywhere else in the county. And I was recruited to run because of my knowledge of the county and my knowledge of the people and the work that I had done. and so I ran and was successful.
Wow.
A lot of my success came from the people right here in Smith Station, Alabama.
Wonderful.
There was the first Republican elected, countywide elected official in Lee County was Corinne Hurst, and 2 years before that, she had been elected to the to her seat, and she and I talked. We're very close friends, and I worked very hard on her campaign. And she and I talked when I told her I was going to be running, and she said, "Now don't ever forget Smith Station." So a big shout out to Corinne Hurst, because she said Smith Station is very important. I knew what Smith Station was. I had family here, or not family here, but I knew people here. I had known folks here. Dr. War is I've known him forever. We have horses, and I've known Dr. War and some other folks through the livestock businesses that my husband has, and so I had an opportunity. And I always tell people, if you don't get off of 280, you don't see Smith Station.
That's what you said.
You don't know.
That's true.
You don't know what Smith Station is. You don't realize how important it is. But we have one of the largest growing fastest growing 7A schools in the state. 7A is the biggest school you can get.
Wow.
So says a lot about the leadership here in this area. And this just didn't start. This has been going on a long time.
I love the school system.
Oh, our school system's wonderful.
I love it.
Lee County has 3 amazing school systems. We have Lee County school system, which is what Smith Station is in, which all of our Wacoochee and all of our county schools are in. And then we have Auburn and Opelika. Okay. We have 3 wonderful school systems here, and that's one of the reasons that Lee County is growing so fast. I mean, we hit metropolitan county status in the year 2000, and that meant we reached 100,000 population. We now have over 150,000 population. I know it's exponential, growth is exponential, but 17 years later, we're 50% greater than we were when it took us 100 years to accomplish that, and then so I think it's amazing what we have, what this county has accomplished, and it has to do with the people who have served in leadership roles.
Absolutely.
And so that talks about my assessor and me running for office, and to begin with.
What I wanted to know is, because some people may ask, what is revenue commissioner? Okay. What does that entail?
Okay, revenue commissioner in Lee County, as a tax assessor, I was responsible for assessing the taxes. But in 2000, the people of the county voted to combine the office of revenue commissioner, the tax assessor and tax collector, into the single office of revenue commissioner. And that's when I made up my mind that I was going to run for revenue commissioner. And what a revenue commissioner in Lee County does is I assess and collect all the property taxes that will be due October 1. They will be due and payable this October 1, and you have until December 31st to pay without penalty. I get that plug in every chance I get. And it's not just the taxes, it's the fees that go along with it. We have garbage fees if you live outside the city limits for the garbage to help maintain the solid waste disposal program in the county. We also, the fire fees that help fund the volunteer fire departments. You have a wonderful volunteer fire department here in Smith Station, and those fees go to help fund that. That's all connected with or tied with your tax bill, and it's all through a legislative local act. And then, of course, the motor vehicles. If you own a vehicle in Lee County or in Alabama, you have to have it registered, and the registration has to be current. It has to be registered in the county where you live. And so we are responsible for all for the registration of all motor vehicles in the county, and that includes not just your cars and your trucks. It includes your travel trailers. It includes your utility trailers, your livestock trailers, whatever it is. And then, of course, the manufactured homes. If your manufactured home is not part of your land where you live and you live in it and it's your homestead property, then it has to be registered, and that's the homes that are in the parks or that are on leased lots. So, it's a lot to keep up with. And I have a staff that is remarkable. I cannot say enough for my staff.
You said that the very first time I met you.
Yeah, you can't, I wouldn't be anything without the people that work with me. They're great. The staff here in Smith Station it's just indicative of what we have countywide.
Right. Well, you not just in one central location.
No.
Miss Oline Price, I mean, tell us about the locations.
When I took office as Revenue Commissioner, though, the first thing I did, Loretta, is I realized how important Smith Station was. And it's important for a lot of reasons. Very big county, very big part of the population of our county. Great community, but Smith Station as a city does not necessarily reflect what the Smith Station, what I refer to as the Smith Station service area, which is over 25,000 people. Huge, big, wow. Probably approaching 30,000 now. Wow. And like I said, you get off 280 and see these subdivisions growing and the people moving in and everything. And these aren't just little houses. These are homes that people are building. They're staying here. They intend to stay here. And so, and I saw the importance. Not only is it 20 miles from the courthouse in Opelika, where my main office has to be by law. It's over 20 miles. The people in Smith Station work and traditionally work and live in a different time zone. You relate more to the Eastern time zone. Well, that's a lot of the counties that are up and down the border of Georgia do that, and it's up to the officials to respond to that and to serve the people the best. And I thought, well, the best thing I can do is to open a satellite office in Smith Station. We opened 6 weeks after I took office as Revenue Commissioner. We opened in our first satellite office, and we're now in our second location. We were out near Terry's Grocery originally, and then we moved in when the city bought this building and moved City Hall here. We moved in here, and then last year, 2 years ago now, we did a major renovation, and actually were able to take the whole end of City Hall, and because it was, like I said, once again, responding to the growth. Right. I had a supervisor and 2 staff people in the original office. I have a supervisor and 5 staff people here now. Wow! And so, it's an amazing. It's amazing how this area has grown, and we've responded to it. I've made it a priority to respond. And then, of course, I have my primary office in Opelika, and I have a satellite office in Auburn too. So,
wow,
we're growing.
Well, you're watching Spotlight on Lee County, and today we're talking to Lee County's Revenue Commissioner, Ms. Oline Price. She's sharing some informative information to let the citizens of Lee County and Smith Station know more about what goes on behind her name, Ms. Oline Price. She wears a lot of hats. Stay tuned, you're watching CTV Beam. I'm Loretta Rose.
Families come in all sizes and shapes. Sometimes your friends are your family by choice, or sometimes you're just stuck with Uncle Charles. But what we know is that you want to protect the people that are close to you, but the flu can unravel everything. Your flu vaccine protects you and your family. No matter what draws your family together, protect yourself, protect your family. Everyone needs a flu vaccine.
Welcome back to Spotlight on Lee County, and today we are on location in Smith Station in Lee County. So today we're talking to Revenue Commissioner Ms. Oline Price, and we're getting a lot of information. While we're filming today, someone just asked a question. Why do they have to write the check to Oline Price and not Lee County?
Because that money that I collect, 2 reasons. Number one, I'm 100% personally responsible for that money. Okay. When I took office as Revenue Commissioner, I had to establish a tax ID number and everything, because that's the way the law is structured in the state of Alabama. And the other thing is, I have to, you can't, when you write it to Lee County, then Lee County would have to distribute it to the state and to the cities and to the, your tax dollars don't just go to the governments. They also go to support the hospital. They go to support the Lee County Youth Development Center. All of those entities receive money, have earmarked tax dollars for property tax for them. And like I said, you also have volunteer fire departments that receive fees. And so in order to do that, the one that's personally responsible, the one that's responsible for collecting that money and distributing that money, is the one you make the check out to.
Makes a lot of sense. You have a huge responsibility.
Well, it is. If you let yourself be bothered by it, you may not sleep much. But like I said, a lot of it is. I have had a gentleman who was very near and dear to me. He's passed on now, but he said, you're pretty smart. You are very smart. I said, "Ooh, thank you." He said, "You know what you're the smartest at?" And I said, "No." He said, "Hiring people smarter than you."
Oh, I like
and
that.
trusting them.
Wow.
and he's right. I appreciate my staff. I appreciate the work they do, and they're great folks.
I must say, everyone that I have interacted with in the city of Lee County and Smith Station has just been phenomenal.
We love what we do, and we love our area.
And it's like you all have one mind, one purpose, one goal, one mission.
That's right.
And everybody is like on the same page.
And that if you don't, if you have someone that has an independent, has a reason that's not for the service, then you can tell it. You can tell it, and it shows. That's when I interview staff and I interview a prospective staff person. I just sit back and let them listen to the way they talk about where they live and how they feel about. You can train people how to do the job, how to do the mechanics of the job. You can't train them to love people.
That's it, Ms. Price.
And to have a heart for it. And that's what we try to do. We try to find folks that have the heart, and then we train them how to do the job.
I love that. I love that. And you have to have a heart for service too.
Oh, you do. You really do. And and you just, it's just to love people. That's the big
love
thing.
it. See, that's what I love about. Every time I interview everybody in Lee County or a city council, I get that same feel. Well, I found out, and not only myself, some other staff members too, found out that you are the very first revenue commissioner in Lee County.
That's right, I am. And it was such an honor. You just cannot imagine how humbling it is for the people of Lee County to elect me to do this job. As they elected me as tax assessor, and then they elected me, and when they elected me as their revenue commissioner, they put so much faith and trust in me, confidence that I could combine 2 offices and take staff from basically 3 offices in the county, put them together and do the job that they wanted done. And it's just, some days I think about that, and you think, golly, have I served them as well as they expected me to? You always want to do your best. That's human nature. You want to do your job the best you can, but you want to also feel like you've done. You personally want to feel like you've done it. People may say, okay, oh yeah, you've done well, you've done your best, but if you personally don't feel that way, and sometimes to do that, you have to strive a little bit harder.
Yes.
And so I like to challenge myself. People will ask me, "What's your next goal?" Well,
that's a good one.
Well, it was be elected revenue commissioner, combine these offices. That was a task. It really was a task, and a lot of it is bringing people together that have worked under 3 different administrations with 3 different management styles, and then one day they're working for this person, and the next morning they get up and they're coming to work in my office, and really through no fault of their own. This is what the voters chose, and so I had to make them feel comfortable with me. And sometimes I'm accused of making them feel too comfortable with me, but that's all right. They had to be comfortable with me and trust me, just like I trusted them. And then you had to move on to. So I combined the offices, and then my very next goal was to open this satellite office here in Smith Station. I had promised the people that that's what they would get, and I don't like to back down on promises.
Absolutely.
And I don't think they thought it was going to happen as quick as it did, but it happened.
Wow.
And then, of course, the next step was to open the satellite office in Smith Station. Both of these satellite offices are the best example of 2 government entities working together. In Smith Station, construction, it's the city and the county working together and to provide a building. In Auburn, it's the same example. The city of Auburn owned the land, the county built the building. And so we have, it's two examples of government entities working together with one goal in mind, and that's to serve the people. Exactly. And then we've made some other changes along the way. I'm a big believer in education, and I send my staff to training. We have opportunities through the Government Economic Development Institute at Auburn University. They have partnered with the Alabama Department of Revenue, and they offer staff training.
That's wonderful.
And my staff is trained. I'm actually an instructor in some of those programs, and I feel very blessed that I get the opportunity to teach the classes. We have various instructors, and usually we'll have different instructors for a class, and for a motor vehicle class we'll have two sets of instructors, and the people that work for me say, well, we want to go where you're teaching. I said, no, you're not ever going to go where I'm teaching. You might tell too many stories about me. So I'll send you to someone else, but you're not going to tell me to my face. But no, it's a good relationship that we have, that the state and the university have together with that. And so that's a big thing that I do, is making sure my staff is educated. And then of course this year we have undergone a major software upgrade. It's something that has been a long time coming, but I just wanted to, sometimes I move a little bit too fast, but when it's something that's this important and this significant, I really worried a lot of people to death in making them show me their programs and show me what they're doing. And it's working well. It's working well. And part of that reason was to shorten the lines. And that's to speed up the process, to make us more efficient. That's the whole goal, is to be efficient. And then, of course, if you've gone to the courthouse, or if you've driven to Opelika lately and driven down near downtown and seen what we're doing at the courthouse, that's major. The courthouse had become too small for what it was, and for my staff. And we have people literally standing with their, sitting with their feet on boxes of records and files. And the county commission, now that we've come out of the Great Recession, the County Commission has so gracious to build us a new wing, an annex next door to the courthouse, adjacent to the courthouse. And the beauty I like behind it is going to maintain the same cultural look of what downtown has, the historic look and that type of thing. And I really appreciate the architect working with this county to do that, and working with my office to do that, while we still maintain our functionality.
Right. And what I see is that you are keeping up with the growth. As growth coming in, you're doing the necessary changes and, adapting to things to help everything to flow.
That's necessary. It's necessary. I don't want to go into the grocery store, the doctor's office, the bank, or whatever, and somebody say, you're not doing your job.
Wow, yeah.
And they
will tell you too.
They will, and that's the thing I love. I tell my staff, when you're dissatisfied with your doctor, when you're dissatisfied with your bank, when you're dissatisfied with the grocery store, the pharmacy, whatever, you can go to another one. Yeah. We're the only revenue office. You can't go. So people may not like our answer, but they need to know that they got the amount of time they deserve as a taxpayer or a resident of Lee County, and they need to feel like we were honest and upfront with them when they walk out the door.
Well, someone may be watching, and I'm listening to you in this interview. You wear a lot of hats. Ms. Price, how do you have time? Where do you find time to balance all that you do? Keep in mind, your wife, your mother. Your children are grown, but still, one thing about being a mother, that job never ends.
Yeah, you're always a mother.
You're always a mother. Grandmother, service woman in the community. I mean, you wear so much. How do you balance all of it?
Well, number one, you start your day off with prayer.
Yes.
You pray for strength, you pray for patience, and you pray for guidance.
Yes.
And I've never really had him turn me down. I may not like the answer, but I need to remember that I asked for the answer and I need to follow it.
Yes.
And so you start your day with prayer, and then you prioritize what's first. God's first, my family second, and my job. And it all falls in there. My family, I have a most wonderful, most understanding family. My husband's very involved in the community. He's has multiple businesses. He's very involved with them, and so and our children grew up. And unfortunately, I think we've raised the same kind of monsters because they're major multitaskers too. And so, but you know, you make time, you find time, and don't ever forget to find time for your family.
That's true.
And if you can do something that's your community service, that you're oriented, and you can involve your family, that's just a big plus. It really is.
Oh, wow. I want to ask you this. There's been a lot of great accomplishment that has taken place in Lee County, Smith Station. Tell me, what are you most proud of out the accomplishments?
Well, as far as my office is concerned, what I'm the most proud of is I believe it was 2007, we were recognized as the high-performing revenue office in the state of Alabama by the Alabama Association of Assessing Officials. That is a peer organization. And to be recognized by your peers as being number one, it means a lot. It means that they know the nuts and bolts of how we do our job. They know what we're supposed to do. They know that we, and they recognize that we are doing it right and doing it well. Wow. And to me, you know, you can, you know, like they say, you can fool some of the people all of the time and all of the people some of the time, but you can't fool your peers.
That's
and
right.
You really can't. And to be recognized by that organization, I think, speaks volumes about our office and the staff and the people that work for me. And like I said, I'm just the one that tags along sometimes.
And you love your job. I can tell.
I do. I really do. I love my job. I love the people that I work with. I love the people that I serve, and that's why I try to be as accessible as possible.
Yes.
You know, I have people, someone will call and they'll have a complaint. You know,
okay.
People can complain, that's all right.
They have their opinions.
If you don't tell me something that you're not happy with, I can't fix it. I can't know it. And I would much rather you tell me than tell your neighbor.
Now, see, that was what I was going to ask you. Are you open to feedback from the community?
And I'll have someone call and be unhappy about something. They didn't like the answer they got. And my staff is really, really good about telling me when they have that feedback. And I'll say, okay, get me their number. And I'll pick up the phone and call them. Oh, we didn't expect the revenue commissioner to call me. Well, you know, that's my job. That is what I do. And I, as my staff tells me, don't get out there and sell a tag. You're too slow. You'll slow our line up, and then they'll be calling me fussing. They'll be calling you fussing at you about we're slow, and it's your fault.
That's why you hired the best.
That's
and you know your role. I do, and they know theirs. Okay,
and so,
I love it.
But I do like. I encourage feedback. We have a Facebook page. It's Lee County, Alabama Revenue Commissioner. Okay. It's monitored on a regular basis. I have a sweet little assistant, Hannah Preston, and she stays on top of that. And then, of course, we have our website, LeeCountyRevenueCommissioner.com. That's how you can go online and pay. We didn't talk about that, but anything you do, anything you have to pay in my office, you can pay it online. Just go straight to the Lee County Revenue, my website, and you can pay that. You can do it, and then also, you know, have a telephone. I like telephones. And you can also email me, oprice@leeco, leeco.us. So I'm very easily found. I'm a moving target, but I'm very easily found.
Yes, you make yourself available to the citizens of Lee County. That says a lot. It really does.
If you have a question, all you have to do is ask, and if I don't have an answer, I'll find you an answer.
Wow, we appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
Wow, and I think they all should be satisfied with you, because I am.
Thank you.
Well, you've been watching Spotlight on Lee County with Loretta Rose here in Smith Station, sharing with you things that are happening in Lee County, your community. As you've heard Ms. Price say, if you have feedback, please share it. In order to be the difference, to see the difference that you want to see, it takes all of us to be a part of the whole process. So thank you for watching Spotlight on Lee County. You're watching CTV Beam. I'm Loretta Rose.